It is Friday, April 11th, 2025. This is another edition of Baseball Today. That is my man, Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose, producer Dan, intern Sawyer along for the ride as well. All right. Let's have a good baseball weekend, everybody. You know, we're just waiting for the weather to get a little bit better on the East Coast and the Midwest so everybody's not freezing their asses off and there's 5,000 people at a game. Damn it. I wish we could hit the fast forward button.
It does seem like that when I'm watching these games, like, there's nobody in the stands, but, it's cold. And, you want to wait until the weather warms up to go to a baseball game. I kind of understand that.
I do too.
Come out here. It's beautiful out here.
Here's the thing I've never understood is that we as football fans will go sit in a game in December that's 15 degrees and you have no problem. But if it's like 44, you're like, God damn, it's cold. I think it's just a mentality thing because you're
well, it's the scarcity aspect as well. You're like, in football, yes. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong here, but the tailgating helps in the cold. We need more tailgating in baseball. A little liquid warmth, if you know what I mean.
I got you, brother. Also, yesterday was hilarious. I appreciate everybody in the comments egging me on, talking about how hot I looked because I had showered before the show. I had a
you did great
on network. Yeah, I had the chain popping. My hair was. Somebody said the hair plug looking great. These aren't hair plugs. I just want to let you know. I would have no problem admitting it if that was the case. They're not. What are you looking at me with a skeptical eye? Do you think I'm
just thinking, what a difference your day was. People were telling you looked hot, and then people in Toronto were just all over.
Oh my God!
Jet takes.
Holy smokes! People have short memories there in Toronto, north of the border. I picked you guys to go to the World Series in consecutive years, and now I'm like the most hated person outside of somebody that lives in Washington, D.C., according to everybody in Canada. That's just not nice. All right, let's get to this. Tip of the cap. Speaking of international play, World Baseball Classic coming your way next year. That man, Mark DeRosa, will be our skipper yet again. Led Team USA to a runner-up finish in 2023 as we lost to Team Japan. Good for D-Row. I know how much this means to him. He always talked about it when I was a coworker of his. I was kind of surprised that they didn't let somebody else get a bite at the apple.
I'm curious about that too, because it kind of has changed hands quite a bit, but he did a phenomenal job. And everyone that I talked to about his time there was how prepared he was, how much time he spent, handpicking the coaches, making sure he was talking to all the players. That's a difficult thing to handle because you're not only handling like a roster, you're handling like organizations. Like, what can this guy do for me? Like, how often can he pitch? Can he play back-to-back days? Like, it's a lot goes into that. And, the world is watching. I mean, it's a hot take maybe. The WBC is my favorite type of like professional baseball. Like, I think it's better than the playoffs.
Ooh, that is a hot take.
I don't know. Like, I just love everything. I love the pageantry. I love guys coming together from different teams. Like, it's truly, and I've said this on the show before, it's truly like for the team. Like, you're not worried about statistics whatsoever. So it's like pure. I mean, the playoffs have that as well. So I don't want to, like, the playoffs are obviously great and you're playing just for W's in the playoffs. But I guess it's just another iteration of that. And then you have the national pride on the line as well.
I will say this. I could see it being more entertaining than, say, the wild card round.
Yeah.
That's where I would go.
Okay.
With that. I think that's fair to a degree. It is. Everybody was so locked in on it in 2023, and I think it'll be just as much in 2026. So D-Row, and I know that he's already out there going, we need some pitching, boys. Let's go.
Who's going to be the closer for Team USA?
Well, we'll start filling out the roster somewhere down the line.
Okay.
Right now is not the time to do that.
Get to the show, Chris.
Let's do it. I'm wearing a Halos cap today because I am wondering what the hell is going on with the Halos, and I mean that in a positive light. They are 8-4. They're just a half game back of Texas in the American League West. On Thursday, 3 different guys had multiple homer games, including one hot cup of Joe in the 5th.
Joe Adell, another rocket, left field, and that ball is going to sail. Chris Morel watches it fly. It's the second home run of the inning for Joe Adell. The Angels have put up 10 runs with 5 home runs in this game.
Ron said, hey, you're still locked in, getting a pitch you want to get and drive it. And happened to get 2 pitches and 2 at-bats and was able to do damage. So I did not know that, but that's fantastic.
Pretty cool stuff for Jo Adell. He became the 3rd Halo ever to hit multiple homers in a single inning, I believe.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I can guess now, right? You have him?
No, actually, I didn't look it up.
I'm going to say Mike Trout. I feel like he's done it before. That's like a safe bet. And then I'm going to go Troy Gloss. Maybe Josh Hamilton.
Dan's busy today. I don't know if he can look that up while we're doing the rest of the show, but we'll see if we can get.
If you're an Angels fan, let us know.
Yeah, you do. You do. The question I want to say is that it's a great start through a dozen games, and we don't know which way this whole season is going to turn. But do Angel fans have reason for optimism?
I'm glad you phrased it that way because they do have reason for optimism. Like 4 straight series wins to start the year off. But the thing I'm focusing on is the roster. And we always talk about, like with the Red Sox, you have to have young guys come up, establish themselves so you can build upon that core. And I feel like they kind of have that right now, Chris. If Kyron Paris is for real, then you got him and Neto up the middle, Ohapi behind the plate. Like that's Sean Huel at first. Like you have guys now that you can kind of build around. They're still making league minimum. So like the payroll thing comes into question. So like they have that core going forward. And I think that alone right there is reason for optimism. And I'm going to talk about this a little later on in the show. There's going to be a lot of Angels talk today. I think there's about to be a changing of the guard out there in the AL West. I'm not saying the Angels are going to run it and the Astros are going to be gone, but I think there is a little bit of that going on right now. We're kind of seeing this Angels team who has had a lot of higher draft picks, who has had to, the Angels fans have had to work through some tough seasons over the last several years. I think we're finally getting to a point now where we're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. So for Angels fans, I know that is something that they love.
Yeah, there is reason for optimism. And the reason I phrased it that way is because, I think 500 would be an amazing season for them. And I know that this isn't kindergarten where everybody gets a participation trophy and we pat you on the head for a job well done. But this team they're coming off their worst season in franchise history. They lost almost 100 games last year. So this would be a monumental step for them to get to 500 this year. And you talked about the lineup. At times over the last few years when Mike Trout was not in the lineup, you looked at it and you were like, my God, is this a B game on a backfield in spring training? Really, that's what it looked like. And you mentioned Kyron Paris. He's a kid that in the offseason, he never put up numbers. He didn't put up numbers last year in the minor leagues. And when he came up here, he was overmatched too. So it's not like, oh, this was something that was building and now he's taken off. No, this is not who he was. In fact, he revamped his swing with Aaron Judge's hitting coach in the offseason. Totally redid it, scrapped it, did a 180. Good for him. Neto, we have talked about a bunch of times on this show. When he gets back, that's good. But you need guys like Logan Ohapi. People thought Ohapi, oh, yeah, I've heard his name. What was he, a second-round pick? I think he was like a 24th-round pick or something. You don't expect those guys to make it. He has done a remarkable job to get himself to the big leagues. And now that he's here, you want him to be a really good, solid, everyday catcher. And that's what he's starting to turn into, right? So those are the sort of guys you need to fall out of the sky. And they're still doing it. Like Jo Adell had a great day yesterday, but I think he has had a sub 500 OPS before yesterday's game. So we're still waiting on kind of Jo Adell to turn into what we all thought he would be. And if he does, then it's a really good, fun lineup to watch.
Yeah, I agree with you about 500 would be very welcome in the town of Anaheim because it's been a while since they've been there. I'm not ready to anoint them a playoff spot yet, but hey, man, keep winning series. And what I asked this to Jake earlier today. Was it 2023? Did they get off to a really fast start? Or was that 2021? If you can remember back in the day. It's 2022, Dan is saying. And Angels fans were asking, talk about our team. They're doing this. They're going to win the wild card. And baseball caught up to them that year. But I feel like this does feel a little different, Chris.
And they're starting to get some guys at the major league level that can throw the ball too. Because that has been a major problem. For years, it felt like it was some veterans on one-year deals taking flyers on certain dudes.
Like Kyle Hendricks?
Kyle Hendricks, I think, is different. Like, that's not a guy that you're expecting to be at the top of your rotation right now.
He's done well so far.
He has pitched well, and he came home. I didn't even know he was out here. I was talking to him a couple weeks ago, right before the season started. He was so excited about just being able to pitch, in a stadium where he grew up watching baseball.
Where did he go to high school? Capo Valley? Is that right?
I don't know.
I'm getting it up right now.
Yeah, please do. But Soriano, who threw yesterday, he can, he needs a little more consistency in his game, but there are games like yesterday where he looks virtually unhittable. He's got one of those heavy balls that he throws.
Yeah, and they swapped him out. Now, he was a reliever. Now he's a starter. Detmers, now they put him in the pen. He's running some like multi-inning type stuff out there. So like, they're making the necessary changes.
And this kid Kahanowitz, he's a giant, 6'7" or so, and he's been throwing the ball well. So it's good. This is all good stuff for
good stuff.
Enjoy. All right. So the Braves, I don't know if everybody tuned into this game. There was a 3-hour rain delay. They were tied at 1 in the 7th. They were like, God, do we just, do we temporarily suspend this game because Philly will come back for another series? No. They stuck around. So did a handful of fans, and they were treated to something special in extra innings.
In there, deep left center, the biggest of flies for the Big Bear. And a game that started on April 10th ends on April 11th, and the Braves win the series.
Won their first series of the year, might we add. Did you see the Marcell Ozuna lookalike there at the end?
I did. Little Joe's McFly lookalike too. No, this guy was great. And this is, I told Jake this earlier, mark down April 10th as the day that the Braves turn their season around. Going out and snatching a series from the Phillies after a 2-hour plus rain delay. While this dude's in the stands and Marcell Ozuna's the guy that hits the walk-off homer, it all adds up. Chris, I have seen, been alive now for 38 years.
Uh-huh.
There are times where things happen for a reason. This one is going to catapult the Braves. I promise you. I think we're going to look back at their season and say, yes, did they start out 0-7? But look at where they started out, dude. Like 4 games in San Diego, 4 games in LA. Like they didn't have Acuna, they didn't have Strider. We're going to dismiss those games. I fully believe that this is the launching pad for them this season.
Well, it could be, I didn't mean to interrupt you earlier, but it could be April 10th/11th. Because
that's true.
It pointed out, it started on the 10th and ended on the 11th.
Even more so.
And if you couple that with the good news that they got on Thursday, that Spencer Strider struck out 13 in what is probably his last rehab start, and the fact that Ronald Acuna is coming out here to Los Angeles to get checked out by a surgeon, he's hitting. He's just not doing any of the lateral work. He's not doing any of the burst running, none of that sort of stuff. But, they said late-ish May for Acuna. Yes, it's, what is it, a 3-9 start. You just got your first series win. But with all that being said, it could have been way, way worse.
You lose that game last night, vibes are at an all-time low.
Yeah.
At an all-time low. You wait till 1 a.m. and then you lose the series, and you got to go on the road. Like, it is just, vibes are bad. Vibes are good now. And then now they go down to Tampa, which, can get the bats going. Right now, Marcell Ozuna is the only guy really with an OPS plus over 100. Sean Murphy just got back, and he has one too. But anybody with, qualified at bats, Marcell Ozuna is the only guy offensively that's doing anything. Maybe that George Steinbrenner Field down there can get the bats going. Then they have a tough series in Toronto. Toronto's been playing really good ball as of late. And then they welcome my Twins to Atlanta. So, I don't know why you're saying that. What, are the Twins not playing well or something this year? I don't
know. I'd have to check on. Is 4 wins in 13 games good or bad?
It's bad. Bad. It's better than the Braves, though.
Better than the Braves, right. 2 other things I want to bring up. Maybe 3. One is, as they head to Tampa, the Braves, those 2 minor league parks cannot hold major league hitters.
It's weird. I don't So the Florida State League is a difficult league to hit in. But this field, I guess, is the short porch. Like, the balls are flying. The homers the Angels hit yesterday were bombs. Those were gone anywhere except for like the Trout one to right field. But I don't know, man. You gotta hate it if you're a pitcher on Tampa or the A's, and you gotta love it if you're a hitter.
Yeah. So that's interesting. Plus, I want to go back for 2 Angels Nuggets. Dan was able to find Kendrys Morales.
Love
hit
that.
2 homers in an inning. And Rick Reichard in 1966. Yeah, one of the early guys.
Kendrys Morales, what a guy.
Yeah, I was there the day that he busted his ankle
on the walk-off
grand slam.
Yeah.
He was covering the game for Fox. God, it was the most bizarre thing. He jumps up in the air to celebrate, landed on the plate awkwardly, and then all of a sudden everybody's like,
something's wrong with that plate, because didn't Don Baylor go down, like his knee just buckled out from under him when he was catching a first pitch? Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Wasn't that at Angel Stadium as well? What's going on there?
Yeah, it's a good point. The other thing I want to say about the Angels, with the Braves besting the Phillies, I believe the Angels are the only team that has not lost a series yet this year.
Let's go. Can you name
Mighty Halos?
What are the series? They played the White Sox, now the Rays. Who else did they play?
The Guardians.
The Guardians.
And there was one other team that they've played. Where else were they? They went from St. Louis.
Yes.
So it's not world beaters, but so what? You play the same schedule as everybody else.
2 or 3 at Chicago, at St. Louis, Cleveland, Tampa. Yeah, all 2 or 3s.
Mm-hmm. Fine. Go win those games. That's what you need to do. Because if you take 2 out of 3 against mid to not good teams and you play 500 ball against good teams, that's a playoff squad.
Let's go Angels.
Just saying.
Are we going to talk about the Angels every topic?
I guess so. Why don't?
Okay.
No. Well, I'll give you pause for this. Are you finding it difficult to find time for a complete balanced meal? That's where today's sponsor, Huel, spelled Huel, comes in handy. Huel is a global complete nutrition brand with over 500 million meals sold, and you can find in GNC on Amazon or directly at Huel.com. Their Black Edition ready to drink is a complete meal in a bottle. It has 35 grams of protein, 27 vitamins and minerals, and it is awfully low in sugar. Now, for the two of us, mornings can be complete chaos. We're out the door in minutes. We don't have time to whip up a balanced meal, which is where Huel Black Edition comes up clutch. Helps keep us full, energized, and focused so we can tackle whatever the day throws at us. So join the community of Hueligans with this exclusive offer for new customers, 15% off plus a free gift with the code TODAY at Huel.com. That's 15% plus a free gift for new customers with the code TODAY at Huel.com. Unlock a healthier, easier way to eat with Huel, nutritionally complete meals in minutes so you can focus on what really matters. See the description for terms and conditions. All right. Cubs start a road trip that'll start in Chavez Ravine at Dodger Stadium tonight and then take them through San Diego early next week. With left-hander Justin Steele hitting the IL because of elbow tendonitis, how rocky might this road be?
I think you're going to be in the ballpark tonight, which is exciting. We just talked about what the Braves had to go through early in the season, and the Cubs are going to have to do that. But I don't know. The Cubs, to me, are playing such good ball, and they can get the job done in so many different ways that, sometimes you have to go through stuff like this, and it makes your team better at points. I know that's kind of can be a silly take, but I just think the way that they are playing right now, defensively, getting offensive contributions up and down the lineup, I think the Cubs team is the real deal, Chris. I think they're going to be in it, and I think they're especially with Kyle Tucker, he's just changed everything about that organization. Can it be rocky? Sure, but they can also just run off a bunch of wins because they just have that many guys producing for them right now.
With the off day coming up eventually at the end of this road trip, it sounds like if Steele is on the IL for the minimum, that it's only one start that he might miss. He's coming off his best performance. It was a 3-hit, 7 shutout innings against the Rangers. It was in the freezing cold. They're being really, really cautious with him because he missed 2.5 weeks in September last year with a similar injury. So they just want to make sure they're ahead of this thing we hope, because he is a fun pitcher to watch.
Yeah.
Pitches with great energy out there. Now, here's the good news for the Cubs. A pair of left-handers. Shota is Shota. I mean, he's legit. He wasn't great on Wednesday, had a wind-blown home run, then things kind of fell apart in the fifth, but he's been so good with them in the year plus that he's been pitching on the north side. Matthew Boyd has been tremendous. 0 earned run average through 11 innings so far. He was one of those pickups where they were like, what did they pay him for 2 years? People are like, why would they do that for a back-end starter? Well, he pitched great for Cleveland in limited action last year, and that has continued so far through a few starts. So to me, I'm focused on 2 guys. Jameson Taillon, who it always feels like he gives you almost like the same stat line every time he's out there. And I know his ERA is not good, but he feels dependable. No matter what, he always feels dependable. Ben Brown is a strikeout and a walk machine.
Yeah.
And so it's you're playing with fire and he throws gas. So it's 2 things with him. I think they can get through it, but playing these 2 offenses at times, and they think Freddie Freeman is coming back for this series, I would say they would sign up for 3-3 right now.
Oh, 100%. But they already played both of these teams. I mean, they took the series from San Diego at home, and I think they split with the Dodgers out in Japan. So, they took 2 L's. That's right, 2 L's. Yeah, that was a long time ago, Chris. Holy shnikes!
I know it feels like a year ago.
So, can they get through this? Yes, they need Steele back because their schedule doesn't lighten up either after the Dodgers and Padres. At Dodgers, at Padres, then they host Arizona, then they host the Dodgers again, then they host Philly.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be also a pretty awesome homestand to go to as well. There's a lot of good teams coming up for the Cubs.
So here's one other thing I want to point out about the Cubs bullpen has been, like a lot of bullpens, hit and miss. Porter Hodge, it feels like out of the guys who are regular contributors out there, has been the most consistent. Your guy Ryan Presley has been all over the place.
Yeah.
His overall numbers are not terrible, but he has given up 17 base runners in 7 innings allowed. His strikeout rate for his career is 25%. It is under 6 right now.
Yeah, it doesn't look as sharp right now. That's for sure. And he's putting himself in bad counts. I mean, you mentioned all the base runners, 6 walks in 7 innings pitched. Like you got to get ahead, and then you got to be able to put guys away. And he's not doing really either of those things right now.
Yeah. So the pen has been, like I mentioned, it's hit and miss. Merriweather had 1 bad outing, I think. Other than that, he's been pretty good. But we'll see. I mean, listen, they're a fun team to watch. I picked them to win the Central. I think that they can compete as long as Steele is healthy and Imanaga's out there and Matthew Boyd continues to wow us. That I think they're a team that if they are healthy in October can be one of those, like, nobody will pick them, but they can upset some teams. I think that's where they're headed this year.
Absolutely.
All right. Some really good series out there this weekend, as always. Which one are you keeping your eye on?
I'm going Angels against the Astros. I mentioned earlier that, I'm sensing this like changing of the guard in the AL West. Like the A's have some really young, exciting players. Another guy on the way. What's his name again? This guy like Kurtz that's like dominating AAA pitching right now. Foolish Bailey posted about him. He should be up soon. Like I think the A's have this trajectory. We just talked about the Angels and kind of like their core that they're developing there and what does that mean? And on the other side, the Astros, like, I think we're still trying to figure out what the Astros are going to be this year. Like, are they going to be like, I don't have the same feeling that I had last year when they were 10 games out from the Mariners. It was inevitable that they were going to come back because they've lost some guys. No more Bregman, no more Tucker. It just feels a little bit different. So I think this is a tester series. 4 series wins in a row for the Angels going up against the Astros. I believe they missed Framber, which is a nice thing. If you're facing the Astros, if you can miss Framber, that's a good thing. I want to see how they do this series. If they go out and win another series, I think we can really start to talk about, okay, Angels.
How do you think Astros fans felt on Monday when Alex Bregman was the AL Player of the Week and Kyle Tucker was the NL Player of the Week?
It's crazy because, I mean, has Kyle Tucker not been Player of the Week yet? Or you just said that, didn't you? You broke up a little bit. I'm sorry.
So I apologize. Yeah, I was saying that Bregman was the AL Player of the Week and Tucker was the NL Player of the Week.
and George Springer.
And
You're
George
going
Springer's
off this year.
Yeah, but that one's so far.
I'm sorry. Like, you still imagine those guys as Astros. Like, George Springer's been one of the best players in all of baseball to start the year.
Yeah, that's true. For me, it's Milwaukee at Arizona. Okay, let's start with Milwaukee's pitching.
Mm-hmm.
Brutal when they got off to that 0-4 start, right? They got bombed in New York. They came home and Kansas City lit them up for a game as well. So they gave up 57 runs in that 0-4 start. In 9 games since, they're giving up just 3 runs per game. Much, much better all over the place. But the reason I'm really honed in on this series, who was my dark horse MVP candidate in the National League this year? Jackson Chourio. And I know that he went whiff to start the year in New York, but dude has been smoking. In fact, he just completed a historic stretch on Wednesday. 12 RBIs, 6 extra base hits, including 3 homers and a pair of doubles, and a stolen base. The only other guys to do that in a 3-game stretch in the history of the sport, Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, and Shohei Ohtani.
Sheesh.
That's it. So Jackson Chourio, all right, he's doing his thing. He is fun, and I can't believe it that he's only 21 or whatever. Corbin Carroll also smoking hot. 4 homers in his last 6 games. I always find the Diamondbacks, like, if I'm just flipping around, I want to watch a game that maybe it's not a pitching matchup I love or anything, I'll stop on the Diamondbacks.
They're so fun.
I watch them a ton, and I will like watching games in that ballpark too. And I don't know why, because it's a dome, which I usually can't stand.
It's the very like expansive outfield, so those guys can go get it. I don't know. There's people in the pool, so maybe you're watching that. But no, I love watching the Diamondbacks play ball. They just do so many different things, and like, I don't know, like the vibe there is so good right now. It's so good.
It is.
I just thought about this, and I don't know why it crossed my mind, but 2 Corbins on the same team. Like, is that the weirdest name that there's 2 of them on a team in baseball history? Like, Corbin's not a normal name, is it?
A normal first name?
Yeah.
Well,
how many Corbins have there been in Major League Baseball history?
Well, it depends. If you add the guy that played Roger Dorn in the movie Major Leagues, Corbin Burnson.
Just saying. I don't know why that hasn't crossed my mind yet, but
yeah. Well, I mean, we could type it in. We could go to Baseball Reference, and I'm going to type in Corbin. I know Patrick Corbin is going to show up, but that's
I'm going to do it right now.
Yeah, let's have some fun here. Probably not as fun for our
Corbin Martin was a guy.
Corbin Martin. Don't remember him.
And then there was a Corbin Joseph. Those guys were all recent. So Corbin's that name's on the come up.
Yeah. Corbin Martin pitched 17 big league games in 3 years-ish with Houston and Arizona.
Corbin Joseph spelled with an A, not with an I. 15 hits and 88 at bats for the Chicago Cubs.
Maybe that's Corbin. Maybe he's French.
4 different teams.
Maybe he's French.
Whoa. In 2019, he played for Oakland, San Francisco, and Pittsburgh.
Interesting.
It's a lot.
Very interesting.
Here's your Corbin history for the day.
A few other series I'm sure we're going to be watching. Obviously, the Royals and Cleveland. I'll be curious to see if there's any carryover. We talked yesterday about the Class A pitch at Jonathan India's face. I hope nothing happens. I hope they realize that just got away, but you never know. San Francisco at the Yankees. That could be fun. Baltimore's playing only its second home series all year, taking on Toronto, which just took 3 of 4 from Boston.
Cubs, LA.
Yeah, we talked a bit about that. Yeah, sounds about right. We'll see if Pete Alonso can mash one to Sacramento.
If the Angels are in first place at the end of this weekend, Angels fans are going to be off their rocker.
Well, that'd be good. And by the way,
shout out Swilly.
Yeah, that way, Swilly. They've only played one home series so far. So go back to the Big A. All right, last thing. Pitching Ninja, who obviously does an amazing job with all of his content, did an incredible interview with a kid named Ethan Getting. He's a pitcher at Wayne State University. To say that the pitcher's delivery is unorthodox is underselling the word unorthodox.
Is this how you naturally throw? Yeah, I mean, it got more over the top the older I got and the harder I threw. And so just kind of kept it and kept going at it. And now that's how I throw.
Did pitching coaches try to change you, or is this like, hey, we're not touching you, this is what we got?
Some coaches wanted to like change some things, and thankful that none of them wanted to do anything drastic. They all kind of like saw that it was working, saw that nobody wanted to hit off it. And so they just said, screw it, let's keep going, see how good you can get.
So for people that are audio only, imagine this. He's bending almost backward at the waist in order to get the torque on the ball that he wants. So my question to you is this. If Teddy started throwing the ball this way, would you let him do it, or would you be like, yo, hey, hold on, bro?
I would change him for sure. There's no doubt about it. And I'm happy that no one, it's funny because I'm happy no one did it to this dude because, arm angles are all the rage nowadays. Like you got to have different arm angles. You got to go, down low. Everyone's dropping down. This guy's way up top. Like it's just, you want a different look. You want to, kind of fool hitters. If you make them not be able to see the ball, I would hate to face this guy, because you're trained as a hitter. You see like, arm slots are all, pretty similar. It's when you get those guys that are drastic and now all of a sudden you're trying to pick up a ball from a completely different spot. That's what gives hitters trouble. But yeah, and he looks tall too.
I would break in half.
The oblique hurts just watching the video.
Seriously, if I got put in that position, that would be it. It would be over. I would be stuck like that for the rest of my life.
It looks normal.
Does it though?
What the heck is that?
Where is he throwing the ball right there?
That's insane. Because
How
you can't see. That's just all, what do they call that? When you do things without realizing it. Muscle memory.
Oh, okay. I don't have any muscle
Way
memory,
to go, Dan.
You
caught me there.
My muscles are trying to forget everything that I've ever done with this body.
Yeah, that's true. He looks normal until just before release, and he just bends over, can't see the target, and just throws it.
My God. All right. Hopefully we got you pointing in the right direction for another weekend of baseball. We are back at it again on Monday. Who knows what we'll be discussing? Who knows which fan base is going to hate what's coming out of our mouths that day?
All of them.
Don't forget to like and subscribe everything we do. We appreciate it. You continue to help this show grow and everything at John Boy Media. Sunday, make sure you check out the next game of Blitzball Battle. I think Wooga's, Dan, isn't that your season debut for Blitzball Battle 6? Wooga's and Del Caribe. Oh, my gosh. Well, the new rules will be in effect for Joe's McFly. Make sure you join us in the chat. That's Sunday at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. Keep liking, keep subscribing, keep enjoying. Got a special. I don't want to jinx my guest for Monday's edition of Dugout Discussions.
Oh, yeah, you do. It's good.
We'll keep our fingers crossed on this one. That's all I can tell you. So for our one-of-a-kind producer, Dan Rourke, our awesome intern, Sawyer, that is the uber-talented Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose. Have a great baseball weekend, our friends. See you Monday here on Baseball Today.